What's up, guys? My name is Jason Kiefer. I'm going to talk about the three different Fuji 35mm lenses today. I have with me my X Pro 3, and on it I have the f2 version, which I use the most when the weather is not the best. I also have the f1.4 version, which is easily the sharpest in my opinion and has the most pleasing bokeh. I'm just sorry the XT4 is focusing a bit slow here. Also, we got the new guy, the XC F2 model. Still focusing slow. It's the newest of the bunch. We're going to test it against its brethren today on the X Pro 3, as I mentioned, and we'll see what the images look like. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. I think it's probably going to be on par with the F2 model. That's just the way I feel. Looking at the glass, it looks like it's very similar elements. Just that the, as you can see here on the XC model, gotta hide my face so the eye detect doesn't go off. The XC model does not have the aperture ring that we get on the WR model. And aside from that, it looks very similar. Front element looks like it's about the same size. And interestingly, for those of you guys that are maybe not wanting the plain looking lens, this one doesn't come with a hood, by the way, which I was interested to see. Most Fuji lenses do come with a hood. You can put the same hood for the WR version on there. It locks onto place and it looks pretty nice, pretty clean. But yeah, out of the box doesn't have one at all. So let's get to the images. We'll talk through it and shoot some stuff. As you can see here, we've taken two images from each lens at f2 and one at f4. First we have f2 from the XC zoomed in. You see it's nice and sharp. Then you can see we have f2 from the WR version. Looks very similar. Zoomed in, it is also very sharp. Then we have the f1.4 version. You get a much creamier background, but you can see it's not quite as sharp, especially when we zoom in. It really is not nearly as sharp at f1.4. At f2, it sharpens up a good bit and looks very similar to the XC. Again, still not quite as crisp. I'm really surprised with this result. Then some basic portrait, XC, f2. Zoom in, that is nice and crispy and sharp. Looks really good. And then there's the WR version at f2. You'll see it looks very similar. You zoom that thing in, it looks like the same lens. I honestly feel like these two are extremely similar optically. And this is the f1.4 at f1.4. Get a nice smoother background. Again, not as sharp though. Then at f2, you can see it does sharpen up. You still get a nice creamy background. And then just not quite as sharp. Alright guys, as you can see from these two samples, which are non-scientific by any means, just some stuff I shot in the yard, a couple of close-ups of flowers and a couple of portraits of my daughter. All three of these lenses are outstanding performers. I would say that close up, because I did shoot all three of those at the same distance for all photos, that the close-ups of the flowers, the f2 models definitely outperformed the f1.4 by a long margin. And portrait-wise, at that length, you could tell that the magnification was a little bit greater on the f2 models as well. So that's something I'm going to have to play with a little more to figure out, because it did feel like you get closer with those two lenses than you do with the f1.4, because I did shoot all those portraits at the exact same distance. Sharpness wise, they're all stellar performers. I feel like you get a little bit better bokeh with the f1.4 wide open, but you do get some sharpness fall off, and I was actually really surprised at how sharp the XC model was. For a $200 lens, I felt like it was an outstanding performer and a great value. Certainly if you're using, say, a Fuji X-A7 or an older camera that you got a good deal on, and you just don't want to spend a lot of money on a lens, but you want something that you can use for those intermediate portraits. 35x2 XC for f2 for $200. You can't beat that. It's a great deal. End of the day, I think you'd do well with any of these three lenses. I mean, obviously I own two of them, and I picked up the third one for my in-law. So I think they're great, and I feel like you would be well served by any of the three. Just depends on what your budget is and what your needs are. Obviously, only one of them is weather resistant, one of them is the fastest, and one of them is the cheapest. So you've got three things to balance. Just depends on what's most important to you. All right, this is wraps up this video for today, and thank you guys. First YouTube video for this channel that's not just a music video. Hopefully we'll get some more stuff going. If not, it is what it is. Tune in and we'll see what else comes up.